Most welcome to yet another video, this time in the series about the first World Championship that I took part in. That means for not only juniors that I had already played, I was reigning junior world champion, but the first senior world championship for me. I have already discussed two games in this series. First one was how Vladimir Berlinsky defeated Sergei Kirillov, which was unique, as normally the Soviet players at that time drew against each other and then tried to beat the other players. We also had the exciting game between Kirillov and Dukashevsky, which Dukashevsky won in impressive style and attacking game. But I thought I should also broaden the perspective a little bit. I want to include some of my own games, as this was an interesting tournament for me, showing both my strengths and some weaknesses, a lot of my weaknesses, unfortunately. But I also want to include more of personalities and really strong chess players. So I will actually go back now to round one, in which I had the white pieces against Vladimir Berlinsky. At that time he was the reigning Soviet champion. For the first time, I think, he had become Soviet champion. And he was a newcomer to the international blind chess, or blind and visually impaired chess. So, yeah, before I forget it, please subscribe to the channel and smash the like button, like Hikaru Nakamura used to say, and share the video so that accessible chess material can reach more people. As you know, I will tell the rules even twice to make it easier for visually impaired who use an adapted chess set to actually follow the games. So, it was in Moscow, 1986, in October. I had very little experience on chess on high level, I would say. I had actually played a bit for visually impaired. I played the first Olympiad 1980, then in 1985, as it was postponed 1 year. But I had very little experience playing tough tournaments against very hard opposition. Maybe the only tournament that I had played on that level was the juniors tournament in Hallsberg. I have included one of the games that I won as black against Robert Koshinsky, very strong player, 2450 at that time. But yeah, with very little experience, I came to Moscow. I had got some training, or help rather. I was sitting together with such a fantastic superstar like Ulf Andersson in Swedish, in the summer. And yeah, it was very nice, but it wasn't really training. We went through some games that I wanted to look at together. I think it was 1 or 2 days, something, and I'm very, very happy for it. But my preparations were mainly done on my own, I would say. My second, however, was my friend, a very strong player, Axel Ornstein. He has won the Swedish championship for everyone, I think 7 times. He is international master and a very sympathetic person. But we had not trained together, but he helped me when we were in Moscow. So when I came to the site, I wasn't very well prepared. I didn't know much about Berlinsky, for example, what to expect from his openings. This was the time before we started using chess space a lot, so it was more to improvise as I hadn't seen him in visually impaired events before, and he wasn't easily found in other material that we had at hand. This was the time in which you had to use books, and you couldn't carry as many books as ever with you. So the advice from my second was a good one. Play decent, but not too passive. Put pressure on him. That was more or less what Axel told me, and that was a really good advice. And the outcome of the game is I am myself to blame for that one. So at that time I have started to play the English opening. So I played pawn to Charlie 4, pawn to Charlie 4, and black played pawn to Golf 6, pawn to Golf 6. And this, of course, indicates that black wants to fianchetto the bishop. It also leaves options open where to put the king's knight. If the echo pawn moves, it might land on echo 7. But as we see later on, it goes to the normal square foxtrot 6 a little later on. I played knight Charlie 3, knight to Charlie 3. And black played bishop to Golf 7, bishop to Golf 7. I played pawn to Golf 3, pawn to Golf 3. This was pretty typical of my play these years. And I liked systems without so much theory, as I was really limited because I couldn't easily read chess books. I could use a machine called Optacon that existed at that time, but it was very time consuming. And I rather prefer to come into more system-like play, so that my understanding would compensate for my lack of theory. So pawn to Golf 3, that opens the possibility for putting the bishop on Golf 2. Black played pawn to Charlie 5, pawn to Charlie 5. And I went bishop Golf 2, bishop to Golf 2. And black played knight to Foxtrot 6, knight to Foxtrot 6. I went on now with my pet system, and I have used it many times after this game also. I played pawn to Echo 4, pawn to Echo 4. And this is actually a system often named after Mikhail Botvinnik, the world champion who took the title 1948. And one of the real giants in chess development, I must say. I actually had the chance to at least say hello to him and shake hands, because he showed up in Moscow at this event 1986. So I've actually met him. I've actually met also Max Öwe, the man who was world champion from 1935 to 1937. He played a simul on the Olympiad in the Netherlands in 1980. That time the Olympiad was in Noordwijkerhout, I think is pronounced a little bit like that at least. So I have been lucky to meet such giants from back in time. So I'm thankful for that. By the way, Öwe won convincingly against me in that simultaneous display. So, pawn to Echo 4. Black played knight to Charlie 6. Knight to Charlie 6. And I played knight Golf to Echo 2. Knight golfs to echo 2. And this is a key characteristic of the Botvinnik setup. You put your pawns on Charlie 4 and echo 4. You get your bishop to golf 2. And you then put your knights on Charlie 3 and echo 2. Why then put the knight on echo 2 instead of foxtrot 3? Yeah, it gives you the possibility to push your foxtrot pawn. Black has put his knight on foxtrot 6. That is actually the only difference in the position. The echo pawn is also on echo 4. It's not a symmetrical position. But the pieces are almost placed symmetrically. But Black's knight on foxtrot 6 is a bit more aggressively placed, one can say. But at the same time, it needs to move if Black wants to push his foxtrot pawn. And my knight from echo 2 might also jump into delta 5 in the future. This is not so common, however. Alright, Black played castles kingside. Castles kingside. And I replied with castles kingside as well. Castles kingside. And Black played pawn to delta 6. Pawn to delta 6. Yeah, here we come to a position you can, but the plan that White adopts normally is rook bravo 1 followed by pawn to alpha 3, and then you want to push your pawn to bravo 4, gaining space on the queen side. Unfortunately, Black normally has the same plan in mind, rook bravo 8 followed by alpha 6 pushing bravo 5. In this game, I first played pawn to delta 3, pawn to delta 3, which is a perfectly fine move. I later on in the Olympiad 1988 against at that time East Germany, I played Olav Dobertsin, who defeated me in the Moscow World Championship later on. But in the Olympiad, I think we had this same position, but then I chose not to push delta 3, but first played alpha 3 and rook bravo 1, so that I could later on gain a useful tempo by pushing delta 2 to delta 4 in one go. So maybe I should show that game later on as well. So after delta 3, which is not a bad. Sorry for the little background noise. It was my small twin girls that were excited about something. Hope it didn't disturb too much. And by the way, I now choose to use not my headset, but a microphone standing on the table. I hope that it can improve the quality of the sound somewhat, because it has been a bit burky before, I would say. So, pawn to delta 3 was played. And Black played pawn to alpha 6. Pawn to alpha 6. And yeah, we know the plan, rook bravo 8 and bravo 5 is following, is expected, so I played pawn to alpha 3. Pawn to alpha 3. Black played rook to bravo 8. Rook to bravo 8. And I played rook to bravo 1. Rook to bravo 1. Black pushed pawn to bravo 5. Pawn to bravo 5. And I captured. Charlie takes bravo 5. Charlie takes bravo 5. And Black recaptured with the pawn, of course. Alpha takes bravo 5. Alpha takes bravo 5. And of course, I can't just let Black take space on the queen side. So I now push pawn to Bravo 4, pawn to Bravo 4. And black chose to capture. Charlie takes Bravo 4, Charlie takes Bravo 4, and I played Alpha takes Bravo 4, Alpha takes Bravo 4. So we have come 13 moves for white into the game, and it has not gone badly for me at all. I mean, 19 years old with limited experience. I'm playing the reigning Soviet champion. I'm not sure how old Berlinsky was at the time, but I think he was somewhere in his 30s. Of course, with far more experience than me. But my position is pretty solid, I would say. I now threaten to push the pawn to Delta 4. As you can see, this is another advantage with having put the knight on Echo 2. That is that I now can, my pawn on Echo 4 is supported by the bishop on Golf 2, and the other thing is that the square Delta 5 is also under my control. Had the knight been on Foxtrot 3 instead of Echo 2, black could think of pushing Delta 5 himself. But now Delta 4 is a threat that white has. Black has to do something about it. Black played pawn to Echo 5, pawn to Echo 5. And I would say I have a slight edge, minimal, I would say, but still it is there. I can start planning for pushing the pawn to Foxtrot 4, for example. And also pawn to Delta 4 can be played, although now it requires a bit of preparation. I think if I now would have played pawn to Delta 4, I would have run into the classical trap. Echo takes Delta 4, knight takes Delta 4, and knight takes Echo 4 with attack on the knight on Delta 4. And if white plays knight takes Charlie 6, black continues with knight takes Charlie 3. And finally will come out on top, a pawn up, I will guess. So white has to prepare Delta 4. And for this reason, I wanted to put my bishop on Echo 3. But I was a bit... I didn't like that black then could play knight to Golf 4 to push away the bishop. So I played, although Stockfish 17 recommends bishop Echo 3 first, and on knight Golf 4 just play bishop Delta 2, probably claiming that the control of the Delta 5 square, now when the knight is on Golf 4, more than compensates for the lost time with the bishop moving to Echo 3 and then Delta 2. But I played a far more human move. I played pawn to Hotel 3. Pawn to Hotel 3. And with the idea of bishop to Echo 3, of course. Black now showed his ambitions. Knight to Hotel 5. Now knight to Hotel 5. He probably plans to push Foxtrot 5 in the future. But it is not really a problematic move to meet, because I get a bit of more control of Delta 5. So now I can more easily put my knight on Delta 5. It is not contested there. And moreover, if black pushes Foxtrot 5 early, he has to reckon with Echo takes Foxtrot 5 and the discover attack on the knight on Charlie 6. So I continue with bishop to Echo 3, bishop to Echo 3, and black played bishop to Echo 6, bishop to Echo 6. And here we can sum up the opening. It's the queens are not developed, but all other pieces are. And the opening has, I have a slight edge as white, 0.15 pawns or something according to Stockfish. So almost equal, but if anyone is better, it is white. So Stockfish recommends that I play king to hotel 2, king hotel 2, preparing for Foxtrot 4, and then white has somewhat better chances, not much, but a little bit. Another plan that I might have chosen today would have been playing pawn to delta 4, pawn to delta 4. If because it's very logical and it gives me no weaknesses. If there would be exchanges on delta 4, black would remain with a somewhat weak pawn on delta 6. But it is the position is about equal. But delta 4, I like that move. But in 1986, I didn't really have the... How can one say? When I played this system with white, when I was at best, then I just throw my pawns up the king side and try to murder black. I played a quite positional system, but as a caveman, because that was the only quality I had at that time, I would say. And we will see that it actually turned out successfully in some games also. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but my weakness clearly was a general positional chess understanding, which is not weird. I mean, I was a junior. I spent time with high school and my girlfriend and doing a lot of things. Of course, spending a lot of time on chess, but when you train by yourself, you don't develop in the pace as if you have a strong player. If I have had a coach, I think I would have been more mature. But now it was like it was. No complaints, just an explanation. But I I stumbled, maybe because of nervosity, but I don't know. I overlooked black's possibilities. I pushed Foxtrot 4, pawn to Foxtrot 4. And you can actually press on the pause button if you so wish and think of what black replies, because the game will be over in 5 moves from now. Pretty humiliating, but Berlinsky was clearly the stronger player. Black now observed that I took on a weakness on Golf 3. This is a rule of thumb. When your opponent makes a move, check in what ways does it change the position. Of course, white now threatens to push Foxtrot 5 and start a kingside attack, a la caveman Magnusson style, so to say. But it also weakens Golf 3. It is protected by the knight on Echo 2, but that knight also protects the knight on Charlie 3. And it will soon be clear that this knight is overloaded. I would have needed to put my king on Hotel 2 so that that king could protect Golf 3, so that the knight would remain on Charlie Echo 2, protecting the knight on Charlie 3. So black played the crushing knight takes Golf 3, knight takes golf 3, exclamation mark. And I don't think I think I was just shocked when it appeared on the board. Often when you commit a mistake, you understand what will follow after you have made your move. But then it's too late, of course. But I didn't even recognize this opportunity for black. So it maybe also shows that I was pretty nervous. Knight takes golf 3. Yeah, I have no choice. I have to take. Knight takes golf 3. I recapture. But now it comes. Echo takes foxtrot 4. Echo takes foxtrot 4. With a triple attack, actually. The pawn forks my bishop on echo 3 and the knight on golf 3. Moreover, the bishop on golf 7 now has an open diagonal so that the knight on Charlie 3 is attacked. And finally, black already has 2 pawns for the sacrificed piece. It's complete disaster. Game over. Yeah, we played some more moves. I played pawn to echo 5. Pawn to echo 5. At least threatening the bishop, the knight on Charlie 6. Yeah, what should I do? I didn't want to resign after 17 moves. Black played foxtrot takes echo 3. Foxtrot takes echo 3. So now black has regained the piece. But, okay, I played bishop takes Charlie 6. Bishop takes Charlie 6. I'm still a piece up. But that is very temporarily. Black played bishop takes echo 5. Bishop takes echo 5. So, gaining a third pawn. And yeah, the pawn on echo 3 is also very annoying, I must say. Yeah, my position is very weak in general. Black also threatens bishop takes hotel 3, and the 2 knights are attacked. So I played knight Charlie to echo 2. Knight Charlie to echo 2. Yeah, okay, protecting both knights. Nice, Magnusson, maybe you will win after all. But black played queen bravo 6. Queen to bravo 6. And here you see that black threatens now bishop takes golf 3. White would recapture with the knight. And then it would follow pawn to echo 2 check. Discover check and winning my queen on delta 1. So that is one threat in the position. Another is still bishop takes hotel 3. But the third threat, of course, is queen takes Charlie 6. So I cannot just move the bishop because, yeah, okay, I can, but it won't help me much. If I go bishop golf 2, then it follows this bishop takes golf 3. So I played queen to Charlie 2, queen to Charlie 2. And yeah, at least it parries the threat of this echo 2 discover check things. I got the queen out of that danger, and I protect my bishop on Charlie 6, but unfortunately the bishop also now gets pinned. Black played rook bravo to Charlie 8. Rook bravo to Charlie 8. And here I resigned. And that was the best I could do in this position. Yeah, there are many problems for me here. For example, if I played rook bravo to Charlie 1, just protecting the bishop, I guess that black, for example, could threaten the bishop again with bishop delta 5 or bishop delta 7. That would be an opportunity. So yeah, I can't protect the bishop. And probably there were other possibilities like bishop takes G3, knight takes G3, pawn to Echo 2 check, threatening the rook. And if the rook now goes to Foxtrot 2 to protect against the check, black actually wins a piece, because the rook on Charlie 1 will need to support both the bishop on Charlie 6 and prevent black's pawn from queening on Echo 1. Yeah, let's say the simplest is just to play pawn to Echo 1 check, promoting to a queen check, the rook takes, and then taking the bishop on Charlie 6. Let's say queen takes Charlie 6. So, the white position is simply collapsing. So, it didn't feel so good. That was the first game in the World Championship for me. Of course, it was the toughest start possible, playing against the reigning Soviet champion. But I really suffered against the Soviet players. I later on in the tournament also lost terribly in 25 moves as black against Sergei Krylov. I maybe will include that game also. I'm still thinking of whether or not I should include all my games in the tournament. But then, yeah, there are some games that are not so interesting. But maybe I would do it anyway. Those who don't want to listen to them don't need to. But this game, I think it was interesting to show. It was showing that Berlinsky had a good eye for tactics. He played very sharp also against Krylov in the game we have already seen in this channel. And it also showed one of my weaknesses as player. Don't understanding that maybe pawn to Delta 4 could be a possibility instead of pawn to Foxtrot 4. Or, yeah, also don't really have the feeling, the gut feeling that you get with experience, I would say. Of course, I overlook things even today, but today I would think of, it's good to give a little bit extra protection before you make a pawn push aggressively. So I would maybe have just thought of, okay, it's no rush in the position, I don't need to rush it. So why not tap the king on Hotel 2? Or play queen to Delta 2, just a developing move. I didn't have that feeling, and this is something I want you to develop. Understand when a position is when you have to take immediate action, and distinguish this from position like in this game when I played pawn to Foxtrot 4. There was still time, and then improve your position before you go for the throat. That is my advice now, many years, 38 years later, I would have played it a little bit better. But I hope that you learned a little bit. I can clearly recommend this Botvinnik setup against King's Indian positions. It doesn't give you an edge, but if you don't want to study that much of theory, you want to play more like a system, yeah, it's not such a bad choice. Simon Williams has made a chessable course on it. It's called the Iron English. So that is, just a suggestion. thank you for watching and listening, and yeah, like, subscribe, share, and help me to promote chess for everyone, accessible chess. Thank you.